Hey, what's up you guys? Just for you Subaru fans, on our brand new store, we have EJ20 and EJ25 engine code jet tags. Check them out, the link is in the description. Hey, what's going on you guys? Welcome back to the show. Today is going to be a very fun day. I'm extremely excited. Right here we have two of the most popular platforms for tuning here in 2019. Here is the Ford Focus RS, obviously with the EcoBoost under the hood, and then we have the STI with the Boxer 4. Okay, here in 2019, I mean, turbocharged four-cylinder engines are basically your go-to if you want both power and efficiency in a good daily driver. Now, our question today is which of these is the better platform to build upon if you want a daily driver that can also be used in the canyons on the weekend. And we've got the owners of both of these cars to talk about their perspectives on their builds. So let's go for a drive.
I'm Austin, this is my 2018 STI.
And I'm Matt, this is my 2017 Ford Focus RS.
Pretty much everything has been touched on this car except for the block. Equal length headers, rotated turbo, front mount intercooler, bigger fuel pump, bigger fuel injectors. On E85 it's pushing somewhere around 400 horse.
And then for mine it's just full bolt-ons, nothing done to the motor. And then tuned, of course, with the E40, got about 380 to the wheels. I do like Subarus as well, but I'm a hatchback fan. Of course, this is a hatchback, so that'd be the main reason. And then I've also just always been a fan of the RS and never thought they'd be in the US, so.
Yeah, I think when I was a kid, I always wanted an Evo or an STI, and when I was able to pull the trigger on an STI, I did, and I thought about trading it in to get a Focus RS. I had a few problems with my old STI, and decided to stay with this one, and I like this car. Same thing he said, all-wheel drive system's unbeatable in canyon settings, so.
In all reality, you guys, we're pretty much just doing this video because I really wanted to drive a Focus RS again. Seriously, one of my favorite four-cylinder cars I think I've ever driven, up there with the 99 Civic Type R. Now, what makes this car so great, there's a number of things, and this one in particular, is that it is an incredibly capable car, also very practical, extremely aggressive looking, plenty of aftermarket support and tunability, and it's just a very unique car. For years and years in the past, the Focus RS was reserved for the European market. Chassis is completely dialed in from the factory. In fact, we are in normal suspension mode right now, and it is very stiff. It's pretty damn stiff. Oh yeah. So basically, the 2.3 liter EcoBoost is effectively all torque. It's an extremely torquey engine. It only revs to about 6,500 RPM, so it's a little bit lower revving, but the turbo spool is so quick that you just get that immediate, like, whoa, there's mad torque, right? That power band of this engine, in combination with the all-wheel drive system, the steering feel, these unbelievable Recaro seats, still one of my favorite factory seats ever in an automobile. It just comes together in this complete package that gives you so much confidence in the corners, especially exiting corners. The exit speed in this car, just in the canyons here, is pretty remarkable. You can put so much faith in the all-wheel drive system in the Focus RS. And I think that's really what makes this car such a great car in the canyons. I mean, it would be tough to find a car with the same amount of power, like roughly like 400 wheel horsepower, wheel torque, in the canyons that could beat this, honestly. Yeah, like 3,000 RPM, you get a boatload of torque, and it kind of builds to about 5. It feels to me like the torque builds from 3 to 5. Peak torque feels like it's around 4,800 RPM, and then just kind of flattens out, and you kind of want to shift around 6. Pretty much immediately once the turbo spools up, you're in boost for like 1,000 or 2,000 RPM, and then you're shifting. So you're constantly shifting, right? There's no like winding it out and feeling the power build and build. It's the torque. It is all the torque that you feel and that you want to feel in this car.
I like the word utilitarian. I use it for a daily, but canyon runs, everything, man. Put the kit in it, can put tools in it. You can do everything really with the car that I want. Take it to the snow.
Yeah, same. Canyon car, that's pretty much what this is. I have a daily driver that I drive every day, and this thing comes out 1 day a week to go to work, and then on the weekends to play in the canyons. Yeah, we drive together all the time with a group of friends, and we all drive, Subarus, Fords, anything that's all-wheel drive in the canyons together. And there's a lot of people in more expensive cars that can't keep up. And like we said in the beginning, even though it is just a weekend car, it's still fun to throw my kid in the back and drive around with him, and maybe take my wife on a date or something like that.
Agreed.
Yeah, the biggest struggle on this was, how much power the stock block can hold. Unless you're, willing to drop a ton of money into the motor, you got to kind of stay conservative, and I think that's where the tuning comes in. This car's built to handle 600 horsepower except for the block. So my biggest struggle is definitely maintaining that lower power. Otherwise, I love everything about the car.
I mean, just parts kind of taking a while to come in because it is a limited production car, and a lot of the stuff is out of the UK, which makes it kind of difficult to get stuff, or just a long time to get stuff. Other than that, nothing.
I drove Matt's car last year when we were down here near LA, and a lot of you guys hated the way the car looks. Like, a lot of you guys don't like the way the Focus RS looks. Y'all are crazy. The only thing it's really missing is like the throwback to the older Focus RSs in Europe and the Cosworths and whatnot with the really wide fender flares. That's really all it's missing, but you've got drive modes, you've got normal, you've got sport, you've got track, and then obviously you've got the infamous drift mode for the RS. We are gonna put it in track, because why not? And then I will switch the suspension into sport, which actually stiffens it up quite a bit. Yes. So it's a hatchback that's supposed to be practical, but it's also really kind of suited more so for the track. Hearing the turbo spool up, oh, it's wonderful. All right, let's go. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's fast. 70 miles an hour. Oh my God, rally car. Last time I never really got to wind it out. We didn't really hit any big straights. But my God, this car is fast and it's fun. And it's got a lot of presence on the road. A lot of people notice it. They're very similar in a lot of ways. But I find this feels a little bit lighter on its feet. Oh man, what a trip though. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's fast. That is very fast. The STI makes a better daily. Even in the trim that Austin has his in right now, like big turbo, tons and tons of power, gobs of just monstrous power, it still makes a better daily than this car. They are very similar. They are very similar. I'd take the STI interior over this car. I'd probably take the infotainment from the STI over this car. The RS is a complete experience that's much more tailored to motorsport than the STI is. That's the feeling I get when I drive that Austin's brand new STI versus this car. I think this is much more a dedicated kind of track and autocross car. And I think really that's all it comes down to, is your personal preference and what you're going to be using the car for. You have not sacrificed turbo spool in favor of power. I mean, bolt-ons and a tune is all this car needs. The RS is so fast out of the box. It really is.
I'm in a twisted reality. Twisted.
I swear to God, you guys, this thing never gets old. If you're not a Ford fan, especially, you should definitely give the Ford Focus RS a chance. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. But let's get in the STI and see how it compares. This thing is gonna be mental, I can already tell. So it's definitely got a short shifter of some kind, I think. I mean, if this is a stock STI shifter, then Subaru, you have come a long way. By the way, Austin, awesome shift knob. I love it. It's the snail with a little turbo, little spoolie turbo on it. Pretty cool. Anyways, so this is a new STI. As I said in the RS, the interior of this car just is a better interior. It's of a little bit higher quality. When you touch things, it's a little nicer. You've got great information displayed up here. You've got your full boost. That would be 21 pounds of boost right there. And then Austin's gone ahead and put the access port, cob access port over here on the left side. We are running a E85 blend, or an ethanol blend rather. It's at about E60 right now, 60% ethanol content roughly. Other than that, I mean, the car is basically a high horsepower, big turbo STI. It's kind of the beginning of what an insane STI build would look like. So the internals of the engine are completely stock. So you do have to be a little bit higher in the rev band to get your power and your turbo spool with this vehicle. Definitely more so than the RS. The RS spool is ridiculous, but this is an aftermarket turbo. So that's why this video isn't so much a direct performance comparison of the two cars. It's more so just kind of looking at the platform as a whole and being like, okay, what are you looking for in terms of modifying your car? And what do you want out of the car, and how does it make you feel as a driver in different scenarios?
I don't know. I think that unless you're trying to get some serious numbers, and make it a track car, some bolt-ons and a good tune will make this car plenty of power. I mean, I got almost 400 horsepower with a stock motor. I really couldn't use much more power than that, I think, on the roads or legally, in the canyons. Just, I don't know how safe it would be, man. So yeah, bolt-ons and a tune would be my suggestion,
Yeah, I think supporting mods for this car and a good tuner. I've been to multiple tuners, and I've actually had 2 blown motors from 2 different tuners, not on this car, but on previous Subarus. And so I think supporting mods and definitely a good tune.
Car seats fit great. It's got the latches for the seats. It's safe.
That's money.
Yeah, it's got a lot of airbags. It's a safe car, and yeah, I've had no problems. I love the hatchback. It's got a lot more room than people think.
Yeah, Subarus are some of the safest cars on the road. I don't think putting my kid in the back of a car that makes 400 horse is a bad idea. He loves it too. He loves going fast, and Now that I'm running the stock exhaust, thanks to our California new exhaust law, it's even quieter. My wife likes to ride in it now. Both great platforms.
Yeah.
I mean, get out there and go drive them and build them the way you want to build them. That's the coolest part about having a car, is that you
100%.
can build it the way you want it to be, you know? My car is not very flashy, but it's got all the stuff you could want under the hood and the suspension, so get out there and do your thing.
Yeah, I agree, man. It's just all preference and what you like, you know? Get behind the wheels and make your own decision, basically.
The seats, for better or worse, aren't as aggressive as the Focus RS seats. But then again, this car is a little bit better suited for a daily driver, and it kind of shows that. The side bolsters aren't as big, it's easier to get in and out of. So it's kind of a give or take. The shifter feel in the STI is definitely better. I prefer it. It's heavier, it's shorter, it's notchier, it's got more feel to it. The RS is much easier to just quickly like rev match and throw into a gear. But the STI has a certain weight about it and a certain beefiness to it. All right, 3,000 RPM. Oh yeah. And you know what? The RS definitely throws you around a little bit more when you hit a couple bumps in the road. This car is definitely a lot more forgiving, although it feels just as planted as the RS. Third gear at, like if you start right here at 4,000 RPM and mat it, I don't think the STI looks quite as stunning as the RS does. It doesn't make as much of a visual impact on you when it rolls up. That being said, with this wing and everything, it kind of does. Like, it almost does. I still prefer a blob eye STI, the way those look when they're nicely done out. You could get into a lot of trouble with this car though, let me tell you that much. If it was my only car, if I had to choose one for an only car, a daily, hold on a minute. Wow, yeah, that's big power. My heart wants me to take the Focus RS, but I would have the STI. If I had one car, I would have the STI. If I had one car for a weekend, I'd take the RS. That's just how it is. It's got a little bit more of a playful attitude, you know? The STI, it's trying to be a little bit more mature, and to a certain extent, it's successful in doing so. Unlimited amounts of grip. So good. Definitely got to be careful where you power out of a corner, because it can definitely get away from you pretty quickly. Anyways, you guys, hopefully you enjoyed this quick comparison and discussion with Austin and Matt with their cars. Thank you guys so much for bringing your cars out. It was a whole bunch of fun. It's always good to meet up with our friends down here in California, our true car enthusiasts. I mean, these guys are hitting the canyons all the time. Definitely hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Check us out on Instagram at Roads Untraveled. I post up there pretty much every day, and you can keep up to date with what we're filming on a day-to-day basis and behind the scenes and all that good stuff. If you guys don't know, on our store, we have engine code key tags, and we're coming out with 15 new designs, okay? So right now, though, we do have an EJ20 and EJ25, as well as a bunch of other engine codes, okay? So the link is in the top of the description if you want to check it out. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you next time.